Oh boy, the world of Fallout 76 sure is a cruel place. You got creatures being nuked all over the place. You gotta worry about Fallout and so much more. But it's also been confirmed, guys, besides these creatures that we see here, that you also have to worry about hunger and thirst. And of course, melting your skin off because of radiation. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about hunger and thirst in Fallout 76. What do we know about it? What can we learn about it from previous Fallout games? And what has been officially said about hunger and thirst? So guys, welcome back to Open World Games. Let's do this. And by the way, yes, I'm going to be going over your top comments. So guys, leave those comments down below because they may end up in a video. So let's get to this. So again, hunger and thirst have been confirmed as a gameplay mechanic in Fallout 76. We've seen the meters in actual gameplay that appear on your HUD. But, you know, this game doesn't seem like it's going to be too hardcore. It's definitely not described as a survival game as confirmed by Bethesda. No, this is not like Rust. This is not like those other survival games. So what in the world does hunger and thirst do? So what we can do is look to Todd Howard's previous statements about, you know, this game being compared to Fallout 4's survival mode. So what do we know about previous Fallout games and how they handled survival modes and hardcore difficulty settings and stuff like that? So let's get to this. So based on Fallout 4 survival mode, it says prior to survival, only Fallout New Vegas's hardcore mode made food and drink a necessity. Excuse me. It says the sole survivor must remain hydrated, eat periodically, and have a regular sleep cycle in order to survive. Failure to manage one's well-being will result in negative effects such as fatigue, hunger, and thirst, reducing maximum AP. Additionally, one can contract an illness from various sources, such as oversleeping on a mattress or from using medicinal items. End quote. Now, I'm going to go and say that we have not seen any indication that fatigue will be a part of any type of survival mechanics. Only hunger and thirst that we know of that they've highlighted. Again, they don't want to make this too hardcore. It's not going to be that hardcore. So based on what we've seen with previous Fallout games, especially Fallout 4, it looks like hunger and thirst in Fallout 76, according to Todd Howard's, you know, kind of teases here, will impact AP, your action points, and your statistics. Now, there's even more details about this as we continue reading on about Fallout 4's survival mechanics. What about thirst? So this is what happens in Fallout 4's survival mode. It says thirst will negatively impact the intelligence, luck, and perception stats, making it more likely one will drink directly from manual water pumps, water fountains, and open water sources such as puddles or rivers. Now, drinking from irradiated sources has the possibility of afflicting one with an illness. As a means of ensuring one has a steady supply of water, the sole survivor can now fill empty water bottles with dirty or purified water. Now, dirty water is obtained from sources such as rivers, puddles, or ponds, and purified water is obtained from water pumps and water fountains. End quote. So you can see how thirst previously impacted specific skills in Fallout 4. So I would expect some of that to carry on over here in Fallout 76. Now, what's pretty cool is they did mention that drinking from specific areas may give you afflictions and illnesses. Now, that's yet to be seen in Fallout 76, but honestly, I would expect something like that to happen in this game. Now, it's going to be cool to see if your settlement can set up some water treatment plants. I imagine that's going to be a possibility as well, because we have seen some farming, so I would think that they would carry that over into cleaning your water as well. So that's one way we can kind of combat the effects of hunger and thirst and kind of prevent it down the road as we continue advancing in the game. And also, it indicates potentially a really good reason to perform settlement building. There's going to be a real reason, I believe personally, you know, to really investigate settlement building in terms of hunger and thirst. Now let's move on and talk about hunger. So it says this: while the sole survivor is hungry, the healing and bonus properties of food consumption is suppressed until enough is consumed to make the survivor well fed. However, eating something that grants a bonus, example, the 1+ agility of Deathclaw steak, while hungry will remove the bonus if it is already active. For example, eating a Deathclaw steak while not hungry to gain that bonus, then becoming peckish, then eating a second Deathclaw steak to become well fed will negate the +1 agility bonus, and we would require eating a third Deathclaw steak to regain it. Now it says the amount of food that must be eaten to do this is relative to its quality or price. An example, a ribeye steak satisfies hunger more than a grilled rad roach. Certain foods, such as soups and certain crops, will satisfy both hunger and thirst. Interesting. Now, the cannibal perk is mentioned here, saying has a special interaction called dark craving when eating a corpse is used to satisfy hunger. Oh boy. Cannibalism. So I think that's also going to be a theme that makes its way, of course, into Fallout 76. I have no doubt. And it would make PvP extremely entertaining, believe you me. But here, it does mention something really interesting, how different foods have different effects. So you may end up with crops that may actually manage both your hunger and your thirst, and certain foods may be more important to gather up versus other foods within the world. But I do see crops being super important in Fallout 76, and I think those are going to be really on a list of things that you're definitely going to want to get right out of the gate when you are playing Fallout 76. Moving on, it does mention sleep here, but I don't know if this is going to be something that we will be expecting in Fallout 76. But it does say sleeping for at least 1 hour on any bed, mattress, or sleeping bag will save the game and remove any fatigue the player character has developed from being tired. So that might be the case with you know, saving, but I don't think we're going to be having to manage our sleep. It says the sole survivor cannot sleep more than 3 hours in a sleeping bag or a tent and more than 5 hours on a mattress. To sleep for longer amounts of time, it is required to use a real bed. Attempting to sleep for longer than these times will result in one waking up at the time threshold, and any further attempt to sleep may result in an illness. Example, parasites. Now, sleeping for 7 hours or more allows one to recover health, and if sleeping in a bed as opposed to a mattress or sleeping bag will ensure one is well rested and minimizes the risk of illness. Being only asleep for an hour in any bed, even at a workshop settlement, will still grant a high risk for illness. In particular, parasites, lethargy, insomnia, and weakness are common. Now, consuming caffeinated drinks such as Nuka-Cola will delay the need to sleep for some time. End quote. So, yeah, you may be seeing some special drinks in the world, of course, that may negate the need to eat or something like that. So, I do think that could happen, but I think they may potentially have their own side effects as well. But again, sleep management, I do not think they're going to go this hardcore without in Fallout 76. I think the only concerns you're going to have to really worry about are hunger and thirst impacting your action points, and then perhaps certain statistics as you go along. Now, let's go over your top comments. You guys are all always leaving some really creative and cool comments, voicing your opinion. You know, go for it. If you have something negative to say about Fallout 76, I will definitely highlight it if it becomes a top comment. So let's do this, and also anything positive, of course, because we've seen a mix of comments and, you know, concerns and stuff like that. So, first up, we have Eric Mueller, who says, honestly, I'm just so ready. I feel like the gaming scene has been starving a bit lately with all the Fortnite hype. It's time for a new game to take over the world, and that game is Fallout 76! Exclamation point. And this was the top upvoted comment on one of my videos. And you know what, man? I totally agree with you. We need more PvE-centric games. So that's why I'm still pushing for PvE-only servers in Fallout 76. They've kind of blended and mixed PvP with PvE. Honestly, I really want PvE-only servers still. But I agree with you. I think a lot of people are craving this type of game. You know, we have another Battle Royale game, excuse me, that is coming up here. It's Black Ops 4. Then you got Battlefield 5. And, you know, a lot of different Battle Royale games coming up here. So PvP-centric. It's nice to see these games like Fallout 76 and even Anthem, which will be coming up in 2019. So I'm crossing my fingers that this actually works out. You know, the netcode works. It's solid servers. They don't have too many bugs with the game. You never know with this type of thing. So crossing my fingers that it all works out. We really, you know, it would be fun to have an online open world Fallout game. A lot of us want to play with our friends and then of course have them return to single player down the road. But we are getting Starfield again and Elder Scrolls 6. All right, let's move on to the next comment, shall we? This one comes from UK PC Gamer, who says, the PvP gameplay at the start shows a player getting his arm blown off, but is still alive. What happens if you don't finish them, end quote? That's actually really a good question. Honestly, I'm wondering if there's some sort of bleed out that happens no matter what. But this is a question for Bethesda, and I'm very curious if you can have mercy on someone, like perhaps heal them up, or you know, offer them that moment to join your faction. That would be pretty neat. You know, you're like, hey, I will save you right now. You can keep all your stuff, all your junk, and only if you join me. I think that would be a potentially cool thing, especially considering this game will have voice proximity. Imagine someone like begging to be saved, and you're like, what will I do? But, you know, considering his arm's missing, I think, honestly, there might be a bleed out period, and executions might be some sort of cool additional gameplay thing that Bethesda wanted. We'll see what happens. Actually, if you guys want to, tweet at Pete Hines, ask that question. He's always on Twitter answering stuff. I may actually tweet out at him as well. So let's try to find the answer together. Next up, we have Jacob Faulkner, who says, I hope that I may get a Brahmin and play the role of the merchants that walk around Fallout's world, end quote. It's been confirmed that you can't actually do that in the game at launch. So this would be potentially a really cool additional free DLC. You know, there is going to be a lot of free updates with this game, which I'm super excited for. And yeah, I think one of their things that they need to really support is the idea of role-playing as a trader, going around the open world, making your money that way, and trying to stay in, you know, the more busier areas, or coming up to a world event that was just completed and say, hey, you know what, guys, I have some cool gear here that I'm willing to sell you guys for a price. So I see that trading could be a really cool type of gameplay style, if you will, in Fallout 76. So yeah, I agree with you. I really want to see the ability to have a Brahmin that roams around with you and the group, even as, you know, kind of a pack mule that can carry a lot of your gear and loot that you've gained from, you know, perhaps, you know, I guess you'd call it a raid. Let's just call it like that. But that would be very, very cool. But guys, there you have it. Some cool information about hunger and thirst, some indications of what we can expect from previous Fallout games, of course. We were looking at Fallout 4, how they handled a lot of their hunger and thirst stuff on that survival mode that came out. I think it was post-launch for that game. But guys, yeah, stay tuned here to Open World Games for more Fallout 76. Thank you guys so much for the comments. Keep those comments coming down below, and I will be sure to highlight them in upcoming videos. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to be getting new gameplay of Fallout 76. That has been confirmed by Bethesda, so look forward to it. And once again, I will see you guys in the Wasteland. Take care.